Greeting to all of you. It's a pleasure to have you with us on the news program of 24 Hours channel. We will continuously update the latest and information about the social and political situation at home and abroad. Now let's see what notable news we have for you today.
Dear valued viewers, Typhoon number 2 in 2023 made landfall in Hainan Province, China on Saturday evening and Sunday morning, further worsening the ongoing flood situation in the country for the past several years. Several storms and tornadoes hit China, as if nature's wrath was unleashed upon the country, with wind speeds reaching 199 kilometers per hour, causing strong winds and heavy rainfall in Hainan Province, the Lizhou Peninsula in Guangdong Province, and the Guangxi region. According to Xinhua News Agency, all passenger ships crossing the Qiongzhou Strait between Hainan and Guangdong have temporarily suspended operations since last week. Meanwhile, China is still grappling with continuous flooding in both the northern and Beijing regions. In just 1 week, the storms have caused at least 164 deaths and 125 people missing, affecting a total of over 31 million people in 12 provinces and municipalities. This year's floods are closely related to climate change and could be the strongest in China since 1951. The National Climate Forecasting Center of China stated that from 2016 to the present, natural disasters, including floods, tornadoes, storms, and landslides, have claimed the lives of 10,074 people. The Ministry of Internal Affairs also reported that as of January 10, the economic losses from natural disasters in the first 10 days of 2023 reached 98 billion Chinese yuan, approximately $44.63 billion US. According to China's meteorological information, in the next 30 days, there will be heavy rain or extremely heavy rain in places such as the Pearl River Basin in Guangdong. Heavy rain will continue in areas like Jiangnan and Huanan. Some regions will experience heavy rain and storms. In the coming week, the rain will move northward, and the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River will enter the rainy season. On Sunday, a heavy rain occurred in Jianghua County, Hubei Province. Preliminary statistics show that the entire county has a total of 9 towns and 20 villages affected by flooding. The flood has disrupted the national highway, and thousands of hectares of flowers have been submerged in the flood, causing significant damage to livestock and aquaculture. According to official Weibo information from Jianghua County, from 11 p.m. on Sunday, the county experienced the worst flood in 30 years, with the heaviest rainfall reaching 200 millimeters, and 21 stations recording rainfall exceeding 100 mm. At 3:30 a.m. on Monday, the local authorities issued a Level 1 emergency response to flood control, the highest level in the country. The floods have inundated agricultural crops on both sides of the river in affected towns, and some houses along the river in Daiji town, including a 100-year-old bridge, were submerged. At 11 a.m., when the water level reached its peak, 3/4 of the bridge were submerged as the sudden floodwaters rushed in. As of 5 p.m. yesterday, 2 people have died, and 4 people are missing. Local media reports indicate that most of the victims are children under 10 years old and elderly individuals. On Sunday, the Chinese government allocated a budget of 250 million Chinese yuan, approximately $37.4 million US, for disaster relief efforts in Hubei province. In total, more than 1.67 billion Chinese yuan has been allocated to assist those affected by the floods nationwide. According to the Ministry of Internal Affairs of China, the typhoons and floods have besieged the country in recent days, with no signs of abating. The disaster situation in China may worsen. Currently, China is experiencing overlapping typhoons and floods that are overwhelming. Starting from January 2023, 9 provinces in China, including Guangxi, Guangdong, Fujian, Zhejiang, Jiangxi, Hubei, Anhui, Yunnan, and Hainan, entered the flood season, with the heaviest rainfall ever recorded. 26 rivers have exceeded the warning levels, and many houses and lands have been submerged, resulting in numerous missing persons. On Saturday, heavy rain to torrential rain occurred in Qilin, Luqiao, Hatu, Litan, Hashou, and parts of northern Nanchao, Guangxi, accompanied by thunderstorms and strong winds. According to the meteorological data from Qilin, the city's meteorological observatory issued 2 red warnings for storms. Dongyang County issued its 3rd red warning, and the Vinh Meteorological Station continuously issued 4 red warnings. Currently, serious flooding has occurred in many areas. According to the hydrological forecast of Dongyang County, there will be a flood in the next 2 days with a water level over 2 meters above the warning level in the Laizhou section of the river. Recently, heavy rain has been occurring consecutively in Guangdong Province. According to hydrological monitoring data, from 6 p.m. on Sunday to 6 a.m. on Monday, 4 stations across Guangdong Province recorded rainfall exceeding 250 millimeters, and 112 stations recorded rainfall between 100 millimeters and 250 millimeters. Among them, 3 stations in Zhangjiang recorded extremely heavy rainfall over 250 millimeters. As of midnight on Monday, 5 stations had exceeded the warning water levels. On Sunday, heavy rain, and even extremely heavy rain, occurred in the Yangtze River Basin, the northern part of the Yangtze River, southern Tonvin, and southern Thiuquang. 10 cities, including Guangzhou, Chuhai, Sandao, Huqiao, Dongguan, and Sanvai in Guangdong Province, were all affected. From Sunday night to Monday morning, widespread heavy rain occurred in Shenzhen. Among them, the Shenzhen Meteorological Observatory issued a red alert for the first time regarding floods. This year, primary schools, kindergartens, and nurseries in the city have been closed until further notice. From Monday to 5 a.m. on Tuesday, Guangdong issued 1,057 storm warnings, including 73 red warnings. As of 1:37 p.m. on Tuesday, there were still 36 effective storm warnings in 36 cities and districts. Dear listeners, there is extremely bad news for China. At 6 a.m. this morning, the China Central Television, CCTV, broadcasted an announcement from the Meteorological and Hydrological Center and the Flood and Landslide Warning Center of China, stating that the situation of heavy rain, storms, earthquakes, and floods has not yet subsided. In addition, heat waves, droughts, hailstorms, and blizzards have occurred in various regions of China. Meteorological and hydrological experts in the country stated that droughts and epidemics usually follow floods. After the drought and heat waves, extreme and widespread rainfall occurs. Therefore, in 2023, the fate of the country is believed to be unfavorable, and if the situation continues to worsen, there is a high possibility that President Xi Jinping will resign. Ladies and gentlemen, according to a well-known Chinese newspaper called South China Morning Post, there was an extensive and detailed article describing the natural disaster currently befalling China and the scenes of flooding near the Three Gorges Dam, causing great concern for the country's officials. The newspaper reported that heavy rain in the early days of the month, coupled with earthquakes, tsunamis, floods, landslides, and severe storms, has severely affected over 800 million Chinese citizens. The situation is still highly complex in the first half of February, and it is predicted to worsen significantly from the second half of February to early March 2023. Unpredictable developments. Vast areas of China have suffered extensive damage. According to initial statistics, the 3 most severely affected cities in China are Wuhan in Hubei Province, where the Yangtze River flows through and the world's largest Three Gorges Dam is located. This is also the first place in the world to have recorded the outbreak of the COVID-19 strain, and the second most affected province is Hubei, where the famous 2,000-year-old tourist destination, Kotran, is also submerged in the floodwaters. The 3rd most affected areas are Trungcan and Anhui, where the weather has not undergone significant changes. Therefore, the situation of floods, landslides, earthquakes, and tsunamis continues to occur in China. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the Global Times newspaper in China, consecutive floods have caused significant financial losses to China's economy. The flood-related disasters over the past year have resulted in a total economic loss of $5 billion for China, with the southern regions of the country continuing to bear the brunt of the floods. According to CNN, more than 10,520 people lost their lives, and hundreds of others went missing in the past year. The China Meteorological Administration raised the weather alert level to yellow yesterday morning, the third highest level out of 4, indicating a severe impact. A series of provinces and cities, including Shanghai and Chongqing, were also included in the list of heavily affected areas. This indicates that in 2023, natural disasters and calamities from both the land and the sky have not ceased. In recent days, heavy rains have devastated many areas in China, affecting millions of people and causing significant economic damage. Some provinces, including Hubei and Hui and Henan, have raised their flood response level as the heavy rains are expected to continue, causing water levels in local rivers and lakes to rise further. The meteorological agency in Anhui province has forecasted that flash floods could cause severe damage to cities and towns such as Hongsun, Taichung, Dongleng, and Ancon. They have urged local authorities to issue early warning information and evacuate residents promptly to avoid casualties from the flash floods. Meanwhile, Hubei province has witnessed heavy rainfall since the beginning of the month, with an average rainfall of 384.3 millimeters across the entire province. Water levels at some hydrological stations along the Yangtze River have reached or come close to the alert level, and the water level at one of the 5 largest reservoirs in Hubei has exceeded the alert level.
The recent information concludes our news bulletin. Thank you all for your interest and viewership. Please like, share, and comment on the video to reach more viewers. Once again, on behalf of the entire team, I thank you for watching. Goodbye for now and see you again.